Well, welcome back, folks. Welcome back to my channel, Shane's Can of Worms, Project Betty Lou. Today, I am working on building some brackets for my windshield wiper motors. The original car only came with one windshield wiper. If you wanted two wipers on the car, that was an extra. So I'll have to drill an extra hole through the cab and mount a wiper in there. And yeah, so I got my wiper motors, ordered them from Bruceshark online. And so they came in the other day, so I thought I'd mount them, but always trying to think one or two steps ahead. I also thought I'd better put in the windshield garnish, make sure it's not going to conflict with mounting my brackets and that sort of thing, and I'll show you what I'm up against. So this was the original 1934 Chevy windshield wiper motor, if you will, run off of a vacuum system. There would have been a hose, rubber hose going from this down to the engine compartment, and would have been worked on a vacuum to make your wiper go back and forth. So basically made out of pot metal or aluminum, I guess. It's broken. But I wanted electric wipers, of course, so I'll show you what I'm replacing this with. So this is the windshield wiper motor that I bought. Got it from Bruceshark online. I can't remember what it cost, $150 or something like that. Took a few weeks to get in, but I think it's gonna work out just fine. Had to build some brackets here for it, so punch some holes through there, weld a nut on the inside there so I can mount this, and then this will get mounted above the windshield. I've got one just sitting in place right now, so that's about where it goes. This was the original location for the wiper motor. I'll have to punch another hole through the cab to put in the second one, and show you what I'm talking about there. So we'll have to put a hole down on that side. As you can see, this is way too long, so I'm gonna have to take this apart and shorten it. Not a big deal, but I thought I'd put in this window garnish just to make sure that it wasn't conflicting with my bracket that I'm gonna weld into place there. And having done that, it doesn't fit anymore. So I suspect what happened when I replaced all the wood inside of the car, this all had wooden A-pillars, if you will. So this was all wood inside here. Your door hinges were screwed into wood. Everything was wood inside this car. So this beam here, that was a wooden, probably poplar or oak beam. So that had to be replaced with metal. So I made that from scratch. But yeah, it doesn't fit anymore. So the top seems to fit fairly well. The bottom seems to fit fairly well, but the sides are the problem. So I was able to push this side most of the way in. If I go over to the other side, the passenger side doesn't fit at all. So I'm out about 1/8 of an inch, I would hazard a guess. So the whole garnish needs to go towards the passenger side. And I was able to tell that because looking at the inside, I've got, well, it's tight to this door jamb. Like I can't even get my fingernail stuck in there. And on the other side, I got about 5/32 of an inch. So lots of gap there. So that tells me the whole garnish has to come towards the driver's side. Now I don't want to really trim on this because there is a flange that adds some support. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see this flange here. I could trim this back, but then that's going to take away quite a bit of the strength. what I can try to do is bend this in a little bit, bend it in, and it won't lose any strength. My other option is to cut it in the center and narrow it a little bit. And of course, if you do that, you have to weld it back together. There's going to be some distortion, and then you're going to have to do some body work, some hammer and dolly to try to make that look all nice. So I think my first choice is to try to bend this back, bend it in, and get it to fit. So to squeeze this in, I got to be careful that I don't crush the inside, the showy part of this. So what I'll do is I'll just use my pliers here. I got a piece of scrap iron that I'll put on the inside to kind of spread out the pressure, and wherever it's looks like it's a little fat sticking out, I'll just squeeze it in. There, so got it squeezed in a little bit. I don't want to go too far because it'll be hard to bring this back out, and then it weakens the steel as well. So we'll give that a shot and see if it fits. All right, let's see here. Try to get the top in first. Still not being very cooperative. Now, it looks like this whole thing should shift over towards the door, but it's not. It looks like it's better. And the top's definitely better. Right down here, probably can't see because I'm not zoomed in, but still looks like about 1/8 of an inch at the bottom. The top looks like it should slide in. Yeah, this whole side still needs to come towards the driver's side. So I'll play with that a little bit and see if I can't get it to fit. Okay, so what I've discovered is, so I squished in this the inside flange, which helped a little bit, but where it's touching now is on the inside flange. Now, you can see that's a pretty square edge there. So I think what I will have to do is make a couple of small cuts, when probably about here, maybe actually about here, and we'll probably do one back about here, because this seems to be this area that's touching right now. So I'll just make a couple little relief cuts and then bend this in a little bit, and then we'll try it again, and then I might have to go back a little bit further, but we'll just go in little steps and try to minimize the damage. Okay, so I'll make a little cut here. And I see I'm gonna need some tin snips, which I don't have in this shot. So I'll go with the zip cut. So I made a couple of little relief cuts, one here, just with my zip cut. And we'll try to just push it in by hand and see if that will bend it back enough without trying to forcefully bend this down. It might be enough pressure to evenly push that in. try this again. I got the wrong end in first. Try to pull this out a little bit. Push that in. See where it's touching on this side now. Okay, well that definitely did the trick. So what I did was I made 3 or 4 more little relief cuts where I had marked on this pillar here, and you know, just cut in about 1/8 of an inch, and put the top in first, started the bottom, and on the passenger side push that in, and then just give it a few little love taps with a rubber mallet, and it was enough to collapse the metal to make it fit. So now what I'll do is, well, I'm not sure. I might take up those little relief cuts to make them solid again, or I might just leave it because you're not going to be able to see it, I don't think, once the glass and the rubber is in there. So anyways, that's for another day, but now I can focus on, well, a few things. I can focus back on installing my wiper pump motors, tacking them in. And so all these are gonna need drill holes. So that might go in after the glass. No, I'm gonna have to do that before the glass because it's gotta be done before paint. So I'll have to mark those out and drill and tap those. And then up top here, since there was wood up here before, you can still see there's a piece of wood I haven't taken out yet, but there was a wood strip that went in here for the screws from the garnish, went into the wood. I'll probably just tack some nuts in there and go with the just some stove bolts. Okay, well now I'm gonna focus on installing the brackets for the windshield wiper motors. So this is the original hole. I had to drill it out to 25/64 to make it a little bigger. And then I had to drill a hole on the passenger side, matching the driver's side one. And I'm ready to tack in the brackets. I'm bolting the motor onto the bracket. The reason I'm doing that is to make sure that everything lines up just so it goes in the hole properly. These brackets aren't perfect, and the cab isn't perfect either, so just want to make sure everything goes in there. I've wrapped the motor with green masking tape, painter's tape, and then gone over it with duct tape just so I don't get any spatter on that nice stainless finish on it, even though it's probably going to get covered eventually. The reason I don't put electrical tape on anything directly is because it sticks like a son of a... I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but anyways. Yeah, so I can take the electrical tape off, and then the green masking tape comes off of there pretty easily. Yeah, so I'll just tack it in there, quench the tacks real quick, just so it doesn't do any heat damage to the motor. And once they're tacked in, I'll pull the motor off, and then they can be welded up properly. So inside, I've sanded off the paint and rust and grime out of there, blowing everything clean. And then I re-spray painted everything with self-etching primer, except for where I'm gonna weld. And that way, when the bracket's over there, I won't be able to get primer or paint in there, so everything underneath will be all done there. Yeah, so now she's ready to get tacked up. So one thing I forgot to mention was I also painted underneath the bracket with spray paint. And yeah, so I got it all bolted up and pushed into place, just sitting there loose. So I'm just going to put a couple tacks on it, it'll quench it, and then I'll take the motor back out and weld it up properly. Not super critical, those get quenched because this is an inner piece of metal. It's not welding directly to the outer shell of the frame. So now I can do the same for the passenger side. Back on the other side. Hard time getting it back in there. Now I can walk it out. Okay, so I've got the brackets stitched up to the part above the windshield anyways. Turned out okay, I think. Now, as you can see, studs are way too long, so they need to be shortened. So that'll be my next step. So as you can see, I've put the wiper arm on here just temporarily, and as you can see, it sticks out way too far. Looks ugly, so I'll probably cut off about 3/4 of an inch off of the, let's see if I can focus there. About 3/4 of an inch off of here, off of the threaded component, and 3/4 of an inch off the shaft there, and then that'll bring this in tighter to the window. So, but I will also, I've got a piece of melamine I've got cut that mimics the windshield, so I'm gonna put that in and focus, there we go. And put that in and make sure there's going to be enough tension. There should be enough tension on the spring, and make sure everything's copacetic. But for now, that's it for the day, and I'm going to go watch my lovely wife go curling. Bye for now. So what I've done is I've just taken a Sharpie and marked where the nut is, and I want to keep probably 3/16 of an inch past the nut. So I'll be cutting right about, show you there right about where my thumbnail is. So yeah, we'll just take the arm off, pull this out, and we'll cut that and see how it looks. So just going to take this apart. Put the screws in the bag so I don't lose them. Screw here. Take this off. So this is what the inside looks like. There's a little cam here. I'm gonna have to cut this off, so that's why I pulled this out. This has to be cut down too. But we'll put that over there for now. And this is what this looks like on the inside. It's just a pressed in fitting. This is an M10 by 20 thread count. If you ever do have to chase the threads on this, hopefully I don't. So what I did was I put the nut on all the way. So once I cut, then I'll file the burrs off a little bit, and then I'll run the nut off over top of the cut end to try to reform the threads. So now what I'll do is figure out how to put this in my vise and cut it. There we go. So got that cut. I'll grab a file. See how this comes apart. Comes off pretty easy. Will it go back on pretty easy? Yep, sure does. So that part's done. Now if I can find the little piece that I cut off. So this is a piece I cut off. So I'll cut this much off of the shaft. We'll just put it over top. Make a mark on it here. I'll just cut this with my grinder. And put a dirty old glove over top of this here so we don't get any filings in it. Protect it. And find some safety glasses so I don't see any nearby. So I'll use a face shield. Okay, grinder. Take the burrs off. There, like so. Put this back in. Oh. And I'll have to see if I can have a small file. Got a bit of a burr on the inside of this. Put this back together. Okay. Carefully put this back in. To insert the peg back in the hole here. Line up the gasket. Put the screw or the nut back on so I don't lose it. Garbage. I'll find the screws. Yep. Just want to line up for me. Okay, one more. Last one to tighten. There. Here, that part's done. And we'll put this back in. Rubber washers back over top. Protective cap, chrome cap. Put the nut on. So it starts to squish. And put this guy on. And that looks much better. I'll take this off so you can see. Much better. Could even come in a little bit more, I think, but we'll wait and see. So now I'll focus on getting that one done, and that will be completed. Anyways, that's about it for shortening the windshield wiper motor shafts. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.